Hi, welcome once again. This is our little special YouTube segment, something which you won't see us discussing. Pitch side, it's a bit of a more relaxed conversation. And if you joined us on the show, Arsenal West Ham, you would have heard us talking about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, we don't need to talk about him anymore, but I do want to discuss who should be the next captain for the Gunners. As it stands, it's a leadership group, a leadership council, similar in ways to what they have at Manchester City. Arteta was there before. So where do you stand on this, Kevin, and the importance of having a good captain? Someone like a Tony Adams, when you think of captains, he's one of the first names that pops to mind.
Yeah, it is, and you know, you look at Tony Adams, Patrick Vieira, Frank McClintock, even further going back. I look at Gabriel. I think he's been a colossus for Arsenal since he's been back. Kieran Tierney, he's got them traits that you really like. Martin Odegaard, he's captain of his national side, so I think I'd give it to Gabriel. I think he is going to be a mainstay of this Arsenal team moving forward.
Left back union?
Do you know what? I would give it to Kieran Tierney if he was a regular. He's had injury problems. Tavares has done very well and has come in. Gabriel, for me, is a very good player, but I'm not sure of his English. Ben White is almost too soon for him. Ramsdale almost too soon for him. Partey should be one of those stepping up. He hasn't been great in an Arsenal shirt. There's other youngsters. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah. There's not enough leaders at Arsenal. I would give it to Lacazette for the rest of the season and then see how this season goes and then maybe look at someone like a Ben White for next season.
Why not Ramsdale, though? I just want to know, because I looked at Manchester United and their current captain. He became captain almost immediately upon joining the club, and he's still the club captain there, Harry Maguire. Ramsdale just joined. He's very vocal. He's a leader, and the rest of the team seem to like him. Can it be the keeper?
It can, but I think it's more difficult to bark out orders from being a goalkeeper. Even at centre midfield and I think centre back are probably the best two because you're in the thick of it all the time. So that's the ideal position. But again, I go back to Arsenal don't have enough leaders.
So you don't think Ramsdale is enough of a leader?
No,
based on what you've seen?
I think he is. I just think it's difficult for a goalkeeper to be captain
position. Okay.
in his position.
But
he's their best player at the moment.
Scott,
he's their best
hold
player.
on a minute. Aaron Ramsdale can be captain, but goalkeepers are crazy. They're all mad. And he's another one, he's crazy. He's a great goalkeeper, he barks, he does all this, but he's mad. He loves when the opposition fans are giving him stick. Brilliant, but need an outfield player.
Need an outfield player?
Outfield player.
Oh, hold on, one moment. I'm going to throw a couple of names. Iker Casillas. Let's see, Hugo Lloris, World Cup winner.
Yeah, but look at the players they played with, and at international level, it's a lot different because a lot of captains are actually a part of your team. So it's easier to do that. And I know at international level, the goalkeeper, you know, being captain has been quite significant. We've seen Dino Zoff do it, you know.
82, brilliant. Yeah.
But at club level, there's a lot more to it than just being that person in goal. You need to be able to influence out there in the trenches.
He's been superb since he's come to the club. But he's just arrived. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't give it to him, but I just think the fact he's just arrived, plus he is a goalkeeper, which isn't the ideal position, doesn't mean he can't be captain. You've come out with Iker Casillas. I don't really think Hugo Lloris is a great captain, to be honest with you. For me, he doesn't seem like a leader on the pitch. Don't know what he's like in the dressing room. Iker Casillas, I get it, but it's almost very far and few between goalkeepers who are captains. They need a leader on the pitch, but again, I go back to the fact that they need 2 or 3 players, if not in the January window, then in the summer window, to say, look, we are leaders here. That's what they're lacking, not talent with youngsters. So I'd give it to Lacazette because I think he is, and it's not ideal necessarily being a striker, but he is that experienced pro. He probably will be now a regular. We'll have to wait and see what happens with Aubameyang.
I was going to ask about that, because when Aubameyang does come back, do you think he's still going to continue to be picked? Because quite frequently this season, at least, we haven't seen the two of them start together very often.
No, and I think that is down to the attitude of Aubameyang. You know, in terms of quality, look, he's up there with the best of the players in the Premier League. That's why he's earning the money he's earning. You just look at the goals that he scored in an Arsenal shirt. But it's been too long now that actually he's not doing enough. He's not justifying. And the fact that Mikel Arteta has stripped him of the captaincy tells you that he's not happy with how he's kind of not necessarily leading his life off the pitch, but the example or lack of he's showing to the youngsters. But if he gets it right, if he gets his head down, if he works hard, get him out on the pitch.
Yeah.
He's one of Arsenal's best players, if not Arsenal's best player.
Attitude has to be right. His attitude, and I mentioned before about not hearing him come out with anything about, I'm going to roll my sleeves up, strip to the captaincy, but I'm going to prove I'm committed to this football club. You've heard nothing.
Can I ask you, Kev, when it comes to Arsenal captains over the last 10, 15 years, who's been the best? Because we all know now what's happened to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Xhaka got stripped of the captaincy a few years ago after a little rant against the fans as he was taken off the pitch. I think back to Gallas, he ended up joining Tottenham. He was also at Chelsea, let's not forget. Van Persie joining Manchester United. Fabregas wanted to move to Barcelona. Koscielny went on strike. I mean, there was Vermaelen there. There was also Mertesacker and even Arteta himself. So in that period, who's been the best?
I probably think Fabregas has been the best one.
And that was ages ago.
Yeah, that was a long time, but do you know what? That's Arsenal's problem.
That tells you a lot, doesn't it? That does tell you a lot, what's happened over the last few years. It really does. And look, the players that have come and gone and wanted to leave, you can't knock Cesc Fabregas for wanting to leave for his boyhood club.
Yeah.
So I think if it wasn't Barcelona, he'd have stayed here his whole career. I genuinely believe that, because he was loved by the fans and he loved being here. But you're right, Adam. It tells you a story. You named so many players there that are very good players, but for some reason, one reason or another, have not lasted a long time here. We go back to leaders. And ultimately, if you want to win things, or really Arsenal should be trying to chase a top 4 spot. And let's make no mistake, this season, that top 4, that 4th spot is up for grabs.
Yes.
There's no reason why Arsenal can't be chasing it. I don't think they'll get there, but they should be chasing it, because United is still very much in transition. I still fancy them to get it. I want West Ham to get it, but it's up for grabs. And that's where we're looking at a lack of leaders, where if you had a group of leaders, 3 or 4 players, where it's actually quite difficult to pick a captain for the right reasons, not for the wrong reason because you haven't got enough, then Arsenal would have a chance. But yeah, I mean, you've given a list of players there that, for one reason or another, just haven't lasted a long time, and I think it's just a sign of what Arsenal have been like in the last decade.
Okay.
Well, we're crying out for that leader.
Yeah.
We are really crying out, and if I'm honest with you, Aubameyang leadership was questioned. He was the best player, he was the highest profile player, so they made him captain. He shot Arsenal to an FA Cup, and people thought, okay, fair enough. And then it starts to unravel. Now we need somebody who we can say, right, that's the figurehead. Hard to get.
I wouldn't say he was made captain by default, but it was almost not because of his leadership skills. It was just because he was the best player, the most dangerous player. And when that dries up as well, then it's like, well, what have you got? I mean, you tell us what Tony Adams was like.
Yeah.
He didn't play well in every game, but even when he wasn't playing well, I heard stories that he'd have a go with everyone.
Led by example, barking orders. He knew what to do. He knew he was like a coach on the pitch. He knew, right, you tuck in there and you get in there. Away from home, for instance, at Everton the other day. Don't go bombing on. Let's just sit in midfield and see what they got. And then we'll spring from there. Because protect. But this Arsenal were just gung-ho.
Two peas in a pod, that's exactly what I was thinking, because I was recently reading an interview or snippet, I think it was from Gerrard's book, one of his books, about joining the England side. I can't remember which England player it was, it might have been Gerrard, but Tony Adams was there in their faces, screaming to each and every single player. I mean, is that what you want from the leader away from the pitch, in the dressing room back there?
That's what you do to us off air all the time.
Exactly.
You're a leader, Adam.
But I'm used to it. That's Tony Adams.
Yeah.
Tony Adams knew, if he knew he needed to put an arm around you, he put an arm around you. If you needed to be told, he would tell you. He knew the dressing room. He'd get the temperature of the dressing room and the players. That's what a good captain does.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why his statue is just outside where we are right now, part of the legacy of Arsenal Football Club. But who do you think should be the next captain? Leave your comments down below, and of course we'll get it back to the gents as well. Signing off now, we need to find our seats. See you later.